Welcome to the Solid Signal podcast for the week of August 3rd, 2020. The subject of the week is over-the-air TV antennas. And I have not talked about these in a while, and it seems like for some reason 2020 hasn't been a big year for over-the-air TV antennas. And I don't honestly know why. I mean, over-the-air TV antennas are still a great value, but it seems like even though we're watching a lot of TV at home, that we're still not really watching it using antennas as much as we could be. And I think that's a mistake. Let me explain why. First of all, an over-the-air TV antenna is great value. You buy something once, you put it up, and you really don't ever have to pay for it again. This is going to be something that's really important depending on how the economy moves in the next couple of months. Obviously, there are going to be some people who are a little worried about that and other folks who are nowhere near as worried. But, there's always going to be good times and bad times. It wasn't that long ago that we were in the last recession. Things go up and things go down, and no matter what, an antenna is going to keep working for you. Antenna technology is stable, and yet in the last couple of years, there have been some improvements that make them even better. This is a time to be looking at an over-the-air TV antenna because it's going to give you a source of free television that is stuff that you probably are going to want to watch anyway. After all, most of the top-rated programs are available on free TV, plus a bunch of programs that you missed from the old days. Most markets will have channels that are devoted to older programs and stuff that you remember from growing up, and I don't necessarily mean growing up in the 90s. Sorry, millennials. I mean growing up before that. And that's okay. A TV antenna is dependable. It's one of those things that if you get the right one, it's going to work whether or not you have power, which means it's a great choice for an emergency. And yes, it is the summer, which means it's fire season in California, storm season in the Midwest. But we haven't seen winter storms, obviously, in a couple of months. They're right around the corner, folks. Now is the time to do it. If you were of the impression that you needed a huge antenna on the roof and that it was going to be a massive hardship putting it up there and you were going to put yourself in danger by climbing up, I'm not going to say that's completely untrue. Some people will still do that. If you're 60 or 70 miles away from a major city, you still might need to put an antenna up on the roof. But if you're 25 to 30 miles away from a major city, chances are you're not. Chances are you're going to be able to work with a compact antenna that could work indoors or outdoors. It could be mounted right outside a window or even inside a window and still give you great performance. That's really something to think about right now because you don't have to have that giant monstrosity on the roof. The HOA might not even allow it, and I understand that. You might have worried in the past about how am I going to aim it. Today's antennas are so easy to aim, and some of them are omnidirectional, which means that they don't require any aiming at all, which is kind of neat. This really is the right time to be getting into a TV antenna situation at home, and it's one of those things that you can buy, and if you don't use it, you don't use it. But a TV antenna can be a great complement to a streaming video subscription. I know that there are some streaming apps out there, like, for example, Sling, that offer very, very few local channels, and they rely on you to use an antenna to get all the other local channels. This is something that's going to become more and more common because these local channels want to charge pay TV companies like Dish a lot of money, and that's going to drive up the cost of a streaming subscription. I think we all agree that we want our streaming subscriptions to be less expensive than our pay TV, cable TV subscriptions. And yet, the problem is that a lot of these companies are running into the same problems, and that's driving prices up to the same levels. If the goal is to cut the cord, then you're going to want to make sure that you're saving some money. That, after all, is what it's kind of all about. A TV antenna is going to give you the ability to do that. And of course, I'm here to plug the TV antennas that you can get at solidsignal.com, only because we have hundreds of them. We probably have the right one for you. We have a free service to let you see what the right one for your area would be. We have something where you can click and see what other people in your area have bought. We've got online chat. We've got email support. We've got forms you can fill out. we're really, really much better equipped to help you with this kind of thing than the guys over at Home Depot. Even if you feel comfortable going over to Home Depot or Lowe's right now, and I'm not sure that I do, you go over there. If you have questions about an antenna, the guy who works in the lumber yard isn't going to be able to answer them. I'm sorry, it's nothing personal. It's just the way it is. But on the other hand, you'll get the answers you need from solidsignal.com, and that's why you're going to be able to get the antenna you need from solidsignal.com. And you won't have to worry about returning it. You won't have to worry about it not working because it'll be the right one to begin with. I've been an antenna enthusiast for much of my life, and it's been my pleasure to kind of push live television and promote it because I have a lot of folks who still work in that field, and I don't want to see it go the way that newspapers went. Live television is important. Local television is important, especially now when you need to know what's going on in your community. This is a very, very critical time, and obviously you're hearing a lot of people say stuff like that all the time. Unfortunately, I end up having to be one of them. So choose an antenna. I would prefer that you chose it from Solid Signal because they do keep the lights on here at the Solid Signal podcast. But even if you don't, choose an antenna from someone because it's a smart move. It's a smart way to keep yourself informed in times of emergency. And this, my friend, is the time of an emergency. That's it for me for this week. If you've got other ideas on topics for the podcast, leave a comment in your favorite podcasting platform, whether you get it off Spotify or YouTube or wherever good podcasts are sold. I guess that's what they say, even though podcasts are free. Leave a comment and I will hear it. I will find it. And I will work on that. In the meantime, please like and subscribe. It makes me look good to my bosses. And that's about it for me. Have a great week.